There is a stretch of northern Botswana called the Sevuti marsh. On a dark night, with no moon to speak of, the grass out there goes the color of ash, and the only thing that moves is what wants to. Picture 9 lions bedded down in that grass around the remains of a kill. And picture, out past the edge of what your eye can hold, 40 spotted hyenas. Not passing through, circling, closing, 40 against 9. Now, most people, when they hear that, do the arithmetic in their head and they land in the same place. 40 is a great deal more than 9. The hyenas have the numbers, they have the jaws, they have the nerve. Surely the lions get up and leave, or worse. That is the bet nearly everyone makes. It feels like common sense. And it is wrong. Not a little wrong. Wrong at the root. Because the thing that decides a night like that, the thing that decides who eats and who bleeds and who slinks back into the dark with nothing, is not the number 40, and it is not the number 9. It is a much smaller number hiding inside the 9. And once you can see it, you will never watch one of these standoffs the same way again. My name is Wade Halloran. I have spent a working life in the field with these 2 animals, and I have read the accounts of the men and women who spent theirs there before me. Tonight I want to walk you through what actually happens when a hyena clan takes on a pride, and I want to build to the one fact that turns the whole thing on its head. But I can't hand it to you yet. If I did, it wouldn't land. First, you have to understand who these 2 animals really are, because almost everything you've been told about both of them is a little bit off. Let's start with the one everybody thinks they know. The spotted hyena has spent a century being slandered. We were taught it was a coward, a skulker, a thief that lives on the scraps of braver animals and laughs about it. That picture is not just unkind, it is factually backwards. Here is what the research actually shows. Back in the 1970s, in the Serengeti, the zoologist Hans Kruk studied these carcass disputes closely, who killed and who merely showed up to feed. And when a lion and a hyena were found sharing a carcass, the hyenas had made that kill 53% of the time, more than half. Which means the arrangement we all assumed, lion hunts, hyena steals, is very often running in the opposite direction. It is the lion arriving late to a table the hyena set. The spotted hyena is one of the most capable hunters on the continent. It runs down its own prey across open ground night after night, and it can bring down animals many times its size. Its jaws will crack open bone that other predators walk away from, so it wastes nothing. It lives in a clan, a tight, ordered society that can run to 100 animals, ruled from the top by a female, the matriarch. Hold on to her. She matters more than she looks like she does, and she'll be back before we're through. But for all of that, the individual hyena is not a large animal. A big one weighs perhaps 140 pounds. The very largest push toward 190. And here is a small, strange truth worth knowing. Among spotted hyenas, the females are the bigger, stronger sex. The matriarch isn't leading on personality alone. Now the lion. We've built the opposite myth here. The king, the unchallenged one, the animal at the top of everything. And the lion is magnificent, make no mistake. A grown male can weigh over 400 pounds. The heavy ones reach 550. Set him beside a hyena, and it is not a close comparison. He is roughly 4 times the animal. Pound for pound, there is no contest at all. But the king is not invincible. He is not even, on most nights, comfortable. A lion alone is a lion in danger. A lion that is old, or hurt, or a cub away from its mother is a lion on borrowed time. And the animal most likely to collect that debt is the spotted hyena. So already you can feel the shape of the problem. One animal has the size, the other has the numbers. And out here, size and numbers are not the same weapon, and they do not win the same fights. This is where the 2 of them have been locked for as long as anyone has been watching in what can only honestly be called a war. They want the same thing, the same prey, the same carcasses, the same ground. When two predators want the same dinner that closely, they don't learn to share, they learn to rob. Biologists have a cold word for it, kleptoparasitism, but all it means is theft with teeth. The lions pull down a zebra, the hyenas mass in the dark and try to take it. The hyenas run down a wildebeest, the lions hear the commotion, come at a trot, and simply walk in and claim it. Back and forth every night across the whole of the savannah. And it is not only about food. They kill each other. Lions are, in fact, the single leading cause of death for hyenas across much of Africa. Not disease, not starvation. Lions. That's from decades of fieldwork. Crook and later researchers like Cooper and Trinkle and Kastberger. The lion doesn't just steal from the hyena, he hunts it. That is the enmity. It is old and it is real, and it runs deep enough that one of the great wildlife filmmakers of our age called his record of it eternal enemies. Which brings me to the ground where our 40 against 9 actually gets decided, and to the numbers I promised you. For a long time, nobody truly understood these night battles because nobody could watch them. They happen in the dark, and the dark kept its secrets. Then two people changed that. Derek and Beverly Joubert went into the Sevuti region of Botswana, and beginning in 1981, they stayed. Night after night, year after year, they filmed lions and hyenas doing to each other what they had always done, but had never once been seen doing. That work became the film Eternal Enemies, which reached the world in 1992. If you have ever seen a hyena clan and a lion pride go at each other in the black of an African night, there is a good chance you were watching their footage. And it was out of exactly this kind of long, patient watching that the real rule came clear. The one that governs 40 against 9. Crook laid it down back in 1972, and study after study has held it up since. It goes like this. A clan of hyenas can rarely drive lions off a carcass unless the hyenas outnumber the lions by at least 4-1. 4-1. Write that number on the inside of your eyelids because everything hinges on it. Below 4-1, the hyenas hang back. They test, they harass, they wait for a mistake, but they do not commit. At 4-1 and beyond, the arithmetic flips. Now the clan has the mass to push in, to surround, to make standing your ground more costly than walking away. At that point, the lions, as a rule, give it up and go. So take our night. 40 hyenas, 9 lions. Run the ratio. That is better than 4-1. That is comfortably past Crook's threshold. On the paper everyone reads, this is a hyena victory. The clan has more than enough to move the pride off and take the kill. That is the bet the title of this story invites you to make, and it is the bet the numbers seem to bless. And it is still wrong. Because that 4-1 rule carries a condition inside it that almost nobody repeats. A quiet clause. And that clause is the whole story. Here it is. The 4-1 threshold holds when the lions in question are females and youngsters, lionesses and half-grown subadults. Against those, numbers do their work exactly as the math predicts, and 40 hyenas will push 9 lions off a carcass and eat it in front of them. But the moment you put a grown male into that group of 9, the entire equation collapses. Let me be plain about why, because it is the reason your instinct led you astray. A lioness, cornered by a mob, will often make the practical choice. She weighs the odds. she counts the cost, and if the clan is big enough, she yields the meat and lives. She is, in a word, tolerant. She has cubs to think of. There is no glory in dying over a carcass. A male lion does no such arithmetic. A grown male does not treat a hyena as a competitor to be negotiated with. He treats it as an enemy to be destroyed. He does not stand over the kill and defend it. He leaves the kill. He goes out into the mob, picks a target, and runs it down. He will chase a hyena across open ground for the single purpose of killing it, and, this is the detail that tells you everything, he will very often not eat it afterward. He kills it and leaves the body lying there, not for food, as a message. And 40 hyenas, faced with that, do not press their 4-to-1 advantage. They break, they scatter. Because the clan can afford to lose a squabble over meat. What it cannot afford is to lose its members one by one to an animal that has decided to hunt them. So now go back to our standoff and look at it again with clear eyes. 40 against 9 was never the real contest. The real contest was always this: how many of those 9 wore a mane? If the 9 are all lionesses and subadults, the 40 win. They push the pride off and they feed. The headline holds. But if even 1 or 2 of those 9 are grown males, the answer inverts completely. The 40 don't take the kill. The 40 run for their lives. And the number that told you the hyenas would win, that clean and obvious 4-to-1, turns out to have been measuring the wrong thing entirely. That is why it doesn't end the way anyone expects. Not because the underdog triumphed, because the fight was never being decided by the number you were watching. And I don't ask you to take that on my word alone. It was filmed. Out in Sevuti, the Joberts documented a male who made the point better than any study could. His name was Ndwadumela. In the local tongue, it means, near enough, he who greets with fire. He ruled his stretch of Sevuti alongside his coalition brother, a great dark-maned lion called Mandevu. And Ndwadumela earned a second name among the people who watched him work. They called him the hyena killer. He was not the biggest lion the Joberts ever saw. His brother was larger. But he had a ferocity that ran past reason. He charged bull elephants at the waterhole. He harassed buffalo for no reward but the doing of it. And above all, night after night, he waged what Derek Jobert himself described as a nearly nightly vendetta against the hyenas. He did not tolerate them on his ground. He hunted them off it. The clan in that country was led, as clans are, by a matriarch, a powerful female, the center of the whole social order, every hyena's rank flowing down from hers. She was the closest thing that clan had to a king of its own. And in the film, on one of those black Sevuti nights, a male lion runs her down in the open. He kills her. And in keeping with everything I've told you, he does not eat her. He leaves her body in the grass for the rest of the clan to find. Think about what that costs them. Not a meal. Their matriarch. The animal the entire clan was organized around. Her death threw the whole society into chaos, the ordered structure of 100 animals unspooling because one male lion decided to make an example of the one hyena who mattered most. That is the 4-to-1 rule breaking in real time. That is the quiet clause made visible. 40 hyenas can own the arithmetic of a carcass and still lose the only thing they couldn't spare because a single male refused to play the numbers game at all. So let me pull the whole thing together, because there's a larger truth sitting underneath it, and I think it's the reason this story stays with people. We are drawn, all of us, to the big obvious number, 40 against 9. We want the fight to be settled by mass, by the crowd, by the underdog with the count on its side, because that is how we'd like the world to work. But the savannah doesn't add the way we do. Out there, 40 individuals of one kind can be worth less in the moment that counts than one individual of another. The hyena trades raw power for numbers, persistence, and cunning. And against lionesses, that trade pays. Against a grown male, it doesn't pay at all. The male simply changes what the fight is about. The hyena is not the coward we called it. The lion is not the untouchable king we crowned. And the winner of 40 against 9 is not written in the 40 or the 9. It's written in a number so small, most people never think to look for it. I'll leave you with one last thing, because fairness demands it. Ntwa Dumela, he who greets with fire, the lion who spent his life proving the rule I've just laid out, was not brought down by any hyena or any elephant or any rival of his own kind. In the end, he was killed by us, by a hunter. Derek Joubert wrote with real grief that somewhere his skin likely hangs on a wall in America, and that whoever owns it has no idea of the life that animal lived, the battles, the nightly wars, the sheer fire of him, none of which will ever show on a fading hide. The one force that could undo the animal who broke every rule of the savannah was the one animal that answers to none of them, which is, when you sit with it, its own kind of hard truth about who really sits at the top out there. Before you go, I've got a question I'd honestly like the answer to. When you read that title, 40 hyenas, 9 lions, who did you put your money on? The 40 or the 9? Be honest. And then tell me, now that you know what's actually hiding inside that 9, would you change your bet? Drop it in the comments. I read them, and the split always tells me something. And if you found yourself surprised tonight, if the arithmetic of that marsh landed differently than you thought it would, then I'll gently say this. The savannah is holding 100 more stories built exactly like this one, where the obvious answer is the wrong one and the truth is stranger and better. Telling them is the whole reason I'm here. If you'd like to be here for the next, come along with me. I've got plenty of night left to spend out in that grass. There's already another one waiting for you, right there on your screen. YouTube seems to think it's your kind of story. From what we just went through together, I suspect it's right.